It's Happy Valley's #1 station.
You guys are awesome.
You're the best.
I love you guys.
B94.5.
It's all hit B94.5. I'm with Alexandra Agro, the most recent eliminee from America's Next Top Model. What's going on, Alex?
Hey, how are you?
Good, I'm great. So we're going to start talking about the elimination. Now, it was you and Gianna in the bottom two, and you actually scored higher in the fan vote and higher in the challenge vote. The only reason it seemed like you got sent home was because Rob gave you a lower score. Do you think that was fair that even though you scored better in both of those, higher than Gianna, that you got sent home even though that she was having a bad week? Did you think that was fair?
The whole thing was a little frustrating. I mean, as you can understand, I kind of got sent home for a role, or, instead of it being like sent home off of like a fashion shoot or a photo shoot, I'm getting sent home off of, kissing a 6'7" man, woman, whatever he was. And, I don't know if that's a real representation of my ability. And of course it was frustrating because, every single week the fans have been so supportive. I've gotten some of the highest social media out of anyone in the whole competition. So to get sent home, it was definitely super frustrating. I mean, one of the judges had even given me an 8. So it's kind of like, it seems the difference of opinions were just, it was a little unfair. It was frustrating.
Now, talking about the commercial, some of the judges said that it looked like you lacked a little bit of confidence. Did you think that you didn't feel as confident because Corey, he is so used to being in drag and he was so in his element? Did you think that you lacked confidence in the commercial and that's why you scored lower?
I think that Corey doesn't used to being a woman. I mean, come on, he's a drag queen. That is what he does. Like, let's be real here. I do not dress up as a man every day. He does that on the weekend for fun. I mean, totally. I was supposed to be this businessman and, I think if I was supposed to be like a thug or I was supposed to be the basketball player, you can really mess around. But they wanted me to be this proper businessman. I honestly wasn't grasping it. I mean, clearly. But it's okay. I would rather have been sent home on that than one of my, my photo shoots. It's kind of funny. I mean, I don't know how much of a representation of my talent that is,
That's a great way to look at it, that you were sent home for something like that. Now, I have to ask, where did you pull inspiration from for being a dude? Because personally, I think you pulled off a convincing act.
What is so funny is like, they asked me to be a businessman. So I was like, I've lived in New York City on and off, and I'm like trying to envision the businessmen up in New York. And I think some of the other contestants went so over the top and made it funny, and the judges loved it. But when they told us what to do, they kind of were saying, let's make it more realistic. And the funny part comes in the fact that we're ridiculous and we're dressed as like the opposite sex. You know what I mean? We look absurd. So I was trying to just be more realistic with it and trying to, some of the judges loved it and the fans loved it. It was just, Rob didn't like it, which was a bummer.
That was probably one of the most unique commercials ever done in top model history, the whole gender bender thing. But I have to ask, who do you think made the cutest guy and ugliest guy out of the girls and the cutest and ugliest girl out of the guys?
Okay, I definitely think the ugliest guy transformed into a girl was Jeremy. He was the goth, and I swear to God, I was like running. He was freaking me out. But the grosser one was Corey because I had to make out with him, and he actually looked like a freaking girl. I swear to God, I was like gagging walking away. I was like, I don't know what I was made out with. He's like slipping me some tongue. I'm freaking out over here. It was like traumatic. And then I guess as far as the guys, the ugliest girl who was transformed into a guy, I don't know. I mean, I thought Kanani kind of looked hot. She actually looks like a hot guy as a girl. And I don't know. I think mine was the ugliest. I feel like it was hideous, traumatizing.
Well, I personally thought you did a great job, and I think you did great as a man. But moving on to...
it was so traumatic.
But I think you pulled it off well. But actually going on to the challenge right now, interviewing people on the street, they said that you were a little bit nervous. How did you feel interviewing random people on the street?
Listen, there's so much that I feel like wasn't even shown in this situation. Perez Hilton, I love interviewing people. I love talking to people. I love, fashion corresponding would be something that I would actually love to do. But Perez Hilton kind of, in my opinion, built his career on bullying people and hurting people and saying mean critical things of everyone everyone. And when he was having me interview someone, they didn't even air a lot of the stuff, and he was having me trying to get me to say the most hurtful, mean, horrible stuff to this kid that I was interviewing. And in my opinion, I'm not going to raise to the top by criticizing and being mean to people, and I'm just not going to put people down. And I feel like right now in the world, how bullying is such a huge thing, and all these kids committing suicide, and just all this horrible stuff, and every celebrities, all these people trying to stand up against it. I just thought it was horrible that I'm just not going to rise to fame and rise up and get a good challenge score off bullying someone and treating someone horribly, because you guys didn't even see half the stuff that they tried to get us to say. And in my opinion, it was wrong.
Yeah, no, definitely. I was watching it, and he did have you say a lot of things that they did show. Now, I know how you feel so strongly about it. How did the other contestants feel about Perez Hilton? Basically the same, or did they feel different?
I mean, to be completely honest, the entire house was so upset with the whole challenge in general as a whole. I mean, we even voiced our opinion about it. Everyone was really upset because, I mean, I feel like right now, celebrities, everyone's trying to rise up against this whole bullying and the suicides and all this stuff. And the whole house, there was not a single person in the house that didn't think it was wrong, and you guys didn't see a lot of the stuff that even went down. I mean, people were crying. I was even about to cry. People were just not so happy with the idea of having to say such cool things. And I mean, some people didn't have to say as bad of things, and some people did. For example, me and Marvin had some of the worst things that they didn't even air most of it, and me and him were just really upset about it.
Unfortunately, sorry that had to happen, but on a happier note, what are your plans for the future after Top Model?
I mean, honestly, this is just the beginning of so much. I mean, even Tyra personally the other day, she was tweeting, she's like, this is just the beginning for you. And I feel like that's my biggest quote when talking to everyone now is just, even if I had won the show regardless, I feel like I have so much more to offer, and this is just the start of so much. And even though it's such a big platform, I feel it's a small stepping stone in the direction of where I'm going. And right now, I'm taking acting courses, and I'm continuing to model as much as I possibly can. I'm living in New York City and also partly in Miami, and so I'm just going back and forth, and I'm just pursuing everything I want and using this as a platform and just working my absolute hardest and getting my goals and my dreams to come to reality.
Well, it sounds like you have a lot on your plate and you have big plans for the future, which is great. Now, what is a way fans can stay in touch with you? Do you have a Twitter, a Facebook, anything like that?
Oh my God, absolutely. Everyone keep in touch with me, please. My Twitter is at Alexandra Agro, A-G-R-O is my last name. And also I have a Facebook, I have an Instagram. They're all Alexandra Agro.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Love talking with you, and we wish you all the success in the future.
Like us on Facebook at B94.5 Morning Zoo Crew.